Hello, and welcome to this week's Lunch and Learn on stress management techniques. My name is Allison Knight, and I am the health coach for Employee Health Center. This was already the topic that was chosen for this month, but this is even more fitting now. So let's dive in. To start, we need to talk about what stress is exactly. Stress is the body's response to any demand, challenge, life change, or traumatic event. What stress actually does is it kicks on our sympathetic nervous system, which is our nervous system that turns on that fight or flight instinct, especially in a dangerous situation. It prepares us to either fight or run away. There's different types of stress. It can be a one-time thing, it can be very brief and short-term, or it can be chronic and continuous. Stress is not always a bad thing. In fact, stress is very often what helps us motivate ourselves to get up and do something, but that's for short-term, brief events. Nowadays, more than ever, and maybe especially now during the safer at home and financial hardships and trying to work from home with kids, we have this chronic and continuous stress, and that's where it becomes an issue. When we are in that continuous chronic stress, our heart rate is increased, our respiration or our breathing rate increases, we have more brain activity, and we have more muscle engagement. There's more blood flow sent to our muscles to engage them, and we also pull sugar out and send them to our muscles, and so we tend to have higher blood sugar levels as well. And so stress affects the body immensely. So more and more we talk about, obviously, stress is mental health, but it also greatly affects our physical health. It can also ensure that we have a higher cholesterol, a higher blood pressure, and it increases our risk of heart attack and stroke. It can increase inflammation, which obviously increases aches and pains. It has an effect on our immune system. It decreases our immune function, which means we're more at risk of becoming ill, and we have an increased recovery time. It also can affect our digestion, nutrient absorption. We may have bowel issues one way or the other. We might bloat. And it also affects our reproductive system, our hormone levels, those types of things. With our brain, it's affecting our irritability and also our mood. So it's not just affecting our mental health, it's affecting everything. So managing your stress in a healthful way is extremely important. So what can you do? One of the main things is mindfulness. And so mindful.org defines mindfulness as the ability to be fully present, aware of what we are doing, and not overly reactive or judgmental to what is going around us. It is something we all possess, but is best achieved with daily practice. So it's something that you can learn, and it's something that you can continue to improve upon. At the end of this presentation, I will be sending out the recording. All of the slides have links. I will also be sending out a handout that has websites and links to specific resources and tools for each of the techniques that I'm talking about. Meditation. There's a ton of different types of meditations that you can do for stress management. There's a ton of apps that offer short guided exercises for you to do. Two of my favorites that I have listed here are the loving kindness meditation. And again, if you are to click this link, it will take you to a loving meditation. Basically, the intent of a loving kindness meditation is to foster love and kindness for yourself, which is extremely important, but also for those who bring difficulty and stress into your life, which is really difficult. But remembering that that state of mind and negativity can then affect your stress and your mental health. So this meditation takes you through the steps of giving someone you love and kindness, someone who maybe is an acquaintance or someone you don't know that well, love and kindness, giving someone that you had a difficult relationship with love and kindness, and giving yourself love and kindness. Another type of meditation is the body scan. The point of a body scan is to bring awareness to any tension, tightness, bracing you might feel in your body, and then to promote relaxation. Typically, this is done by either sitting comfortably or laying comfortably, kind of breathing into those areas, recognizing where there might be some tension, and then when you breathe out, allow it to soften. Basically, it's recognizing how your body holds your stress. Those areas of tension, you might very often find that you carry it in your chin or jaw, your shoulders, your neck. That's usually where we hold it, but you might find other areas as well that are more tight. One of the apps that I'll be talking about later, Headspace, is a great option to choose to look at. Deep breathing. So this is also kind of a meditation technique, but there's some different types of deep breathing that can be done. And I like deep breathing because it's something you can do everywhere. You don't necessarily have 5, 10, 20 minutes to sit and do a meditation, but you have a few minutes to do breathing, and people might not even be knowing that you're doing it. So the first type is belly or diaphragmatic breathing. And so what this is exactly what it sounds like. We want to breathe from our diaphragm, which is deep breathing, instead of our chest, which is shallow breathing. We tend to breathe from our chest when we're panicking, when we're having a panic attack or anxiety, or we're stressed out, and that turns on that sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight instinct. So by shifting to that deep breathing, we're turning on the parasympathetic nervous system, which causes that relaxation state. So a good way to try to do this is put one hand on your abdominal wall and one hand on your chest. And now when you're breathing, you want to only move the hand on your abdomen, because that's where that deep breathing is coming from. And you don't want to move the hand on your chest or move it very minimally. And that is how you do deep diaphragmatic breathing. Now, the 4-7-8 breath is another favorite of mine. If you've been to any other lunch and learn or presentation that I've given, I've probably talked about the 4-7-8 breath. This breathing rhythm, again, helps reduce anxiety by turning on that parasympathetic nervous system reaction, that rest and digest. It can induce relaxation and it can help you fall asleep. The link that I have for this actually is specifically for insomnia, and it has a little diagram picture that you follow to breathe that specific way, and I think that can be helpful too. Sometimes we get lost in thought when we're trying to focus on our breathing, and having something else to look at can help improve that. But basically the gist of the 4-7-8 breath is to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth right behind your front teeth. Have your lips slightly parted. You're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. You're going to hold it for a count of 7. And then you're going to breathe out for a count of 8, making a whooshing sound. Now, you generally are going to do this a total of 3 cycles to get that effect. They say to start there, and then you can work your way up to adding more cycles. But as a first practice, this specific breathing pattern can be difficult. It can maybe cause you to feel kind of lightheaded. And you don't necessarily need to meet that 4-7-8 breath count right away if you can't. But it's a great practice. You can do it anywhere. Again, it's like 60 seconds of breathing that you can pull out when you need it in any situation. And the last one is breath counting. So this is a Zen practice that is designed to bring your attention to your breath, and it helps you relax. It's pretty simple. You don't actually control your breathing at all. You just normally breathe, but what you're doing is on every exhale, you're going to count. So you breathe in, 1. You breathe in, 2. When you breathe out, and you're going to go up to 5. And then after your 5th exhale, you're going to count back at 1. The point is we're trying to focus specifically on our breathing, prevent our mind from wandering. And so if we've reached more than 5, we know that our mind is somewhere else. And so it's trying to focus, hone our awareness onto our breathing to help induce that relaxation. Some other management techniques: progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR. This is very similar to the body scan, but it takes it a step further. In this practice, you're actually tensing various major muscle groups and then releasing those muscle groups. Usually you either start at your head and work down to your feet, or you start at your feet and you work up to your head, whatever you prefer. But basically you actually tense that muscle and then release it, soften it, and it can help you recognize areas that are particularly tense. I feel like one of the best ones for this to do, because I hold my tension in my shoulders like a lot of people do, but my jaw, you might not notice how much tension or tightness you hold in your jaw, and simply opening your mouth and then relaxing it can actually reduce a lot of that tension. So this is kind of where that muscle relaxation comes into play. Visualization. This is picturing your desired outcome in your mind, your best case scenario. You know, if you woke up tomorrow and everything was everything you ever wanted, you use that to guide yourself and to create that positive mindset. Or you might use affirmations. I am strong. I am courageous. And saying those things to yourself, positive self-talk, actually helps reduce stress and improves your self-confidence. Along with visualization, you might do guided imagery. And this is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's a meditation where the meditation they're describing to you takes you to a babbling brook or the beach or a campfire, whatever you find relaxing, and then you're visualizing that image, and that helps induce that relaxation state when you might not be able to get there physically. Forest bathing, or Shinrin Yoku, which is actually Japanese for forest bathing. It's been around for a long time there. But studies actually show that simply being in nature decreases our stress and anxiety, and it also decreases our risk for a bunch of chronic conditions. It can lower our blood pressure, it can lower our heart rate, it can lower our risk of a heart attack or a stroke simply by being out in nature. There are certain compounds that plants and trees release that help induce all of these things. And also, you know, when it's sunny like it is today, you're getting more vitamin D. Just fresh air can help with that deep breathing. And so getting outside as much as possible, especially now, it's easier said than done, but it's nice when it's nice out to do so. But getting out of the house as much as you can and enjoying the outdoors as much as you can really help with that stress management. Resilience. So you've probably heard this word before, but might not know exactly what it is. So resilience is defined as the ability to effectively cope with stress, and not only effectively cope with it, but bounce back sooner and more effectively from stress and hardship. This is not a fixed state, and you may find that you are more resilient in certain situations than others, and some people are naturally more resilient than others. But the best thing of all is that you can learn resilience, and you can also strengthen the resilience that you currently have. There's a lot of aspects that it involves, and some of those include cognitive, emotional, relational, and behavioral aspects. So if we look at that a little bit further, in order to build resilience, one of the first things they say is to create social connections. So you want to be socially engaged as much as possible and create a supportive network for yourself. Right now, that might seem a little bit hard. And the thing is, even more so, it's important than ever to create those connections. And we have the technology to do so. So making sure that you're creating that network of support and staying engaged. Fostering self-awareness, identifying your own strengths, your weaknesses, your values, and your motivation, being aware of yourself. And furthermore, practicing self-care by forming behaviors and attitudes that support your physical and emotional health. And self-care looks different for everyone. It might be reading, it might be taking a bath, it might be having a glass of wine, or listening to music, or going for a walk, or yoga, or meditation, or deep breathing. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but overall, really is doing something that is going to improve your physical or emotional health. So not something detrimental to your health, even if you enjoy it. Find your why. So find the meaning in your life and in certain situations. Why is this happening? What is your why? What is your motivation? And then train your focus. So meditation and mindfulness in particular can be helpful with this. So you're training your focus to be in the moment, to pay attention to where you are now and what matters most in that moment. We tend to thought travel or thought time travel, where we either go back to the past and think about things that have happened in the past, or we look too far in the future and plan ahead for the future that we forget to live in the now. And it can be helpful to go back and forth occasionally to see, what we did in the past that worked, but often we're looking at the negative and we're allowing that state of mind that we felt then to become our present state of mind. So preventing that and focusing on the now. It's also good to have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. We're not in one place. We are always learning. We always have the opportunity to learn. So we don't want to stand still and be stuck just right where we are. Going along with resilience, gratitude. Now, gratitude is a state of mind that happens when we acknowledge the good things in our life, the things we feel blessed for, or we stop and we notice little pleasures like a bird singing on our way to work or a favorite song coming on. It's a mindset that we can foster regardless of our life circumstances. There's no denying that some people have more hardships than others. But regardless of those circumstances, everyone can have this mindset and we can tune into it at any time. Gratitude is actually strongly linked to improved mental health, as well as overall life satisfaction and the ability to more effectively cope with stress, just like resilience. Very often people say by practicing gratitude, people are at least 20% happier. A good way to practice gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal. It's usually the first activity that someone would suggest. And at the end of the day, writing down 3 things that you're blessed for, that you feel grateful for, or 3 good things that happened that day. You might also not be a writer, but simply thinking about these things before you go to sleep. Even if it was the worst day ever, maybe more importantly, if it was the worst day ever, acknowledging those so that you go to bed thinking about that and having a more positive mindset than that negative mindset and your mind racing thinking about all the bad that happened. Binaural beats. So these have to be listened through headphones because what they are 2 different tones are being played in each ear with a frequency less than 1,000 hertz and a difference of less than 30 hertz. What they do is they help induce relaxation and decrease anxiety by creating brainwaves that are similarly achieved through meditation. So when we meditate, we have this certain brainwave pattern that occurs due to the meditation, and this is a way to maybe do it faster, or if you feel like meditation is not your thing or you're not quite good at it yet, you could try this to see if this would be more your speed. But also remembering that mindfulness and meditation and deep breathing, they all come with practice. It's not going to necessarily change you in one sitting, one night. It's like playing the piano or learning, accounting. It doesn't just happen overnight. So give it some time. And if you feel like it's going to work, it's going to work, versus if you go in saying this is dumb, this isn't going to work, then it's not going to work. There's some different waves, and the 2 that I want to talk about are the theta waves. Binaural beats in that range tend to reduce anxiety and relaxation. And then binaural beats in the alpha range are thought to promote positivity as well as decrease anxiety. And if you click that link, I think I changed it before it was a YouTube video, but now it is a library from InsightTimer.com with a bunch of different options for you to listen to. Aromatherapy. So 75% of our emotions on a daily basis are affected by the sense of smell. You might have linked, certain smells to nostalgia, thinking back to your childhood. So our sense of smell is actually extremely powerful in affecting our mood. And the reason why is that certain scents, and in this particular case with aromatherapy, scents released by oils are picked up by our olfactory nerve, which then signals our nervous system and our brain, specifically the area that controls our mood and emotions, which is the amygdala, kind of our mood center of our brain, to relax. These systems also control our autonomic and our parasympathetic nervous system. So opposite of that sympathetic nervous system, which is turned on when we're stressed and turns on that fight or flight instinct, Aromatherapy and our parasympathetic nervous system turns on that rest and digest, or that relaxation state. And so this is why aromatherapy actually does help. The biggest one that people find relaxing is lavender. It's talked about a lot. You might personally not like the scent, and there might be scents that are more relaxing for you. They've talked about jasmine. They've talked about ylang ylang. I personally find more earthy tones relaxing. I like sandalwood, those types of scents. So finding something that works for you. I also like eucalyptus. I find that really relaxing, and it's also helpful when you have a stuffed nose to help clear it out. So using aromatherapy coupled with meditation or mindfulness or deep breathing might even be more beneficial for you as well. Body movement. So again, we talked previously about, obviously it's not just a mental health thing. Stress greatly impacts our overall physical health as well. And so when stress affects our brain and our nervous system, it's also impacting our body. And when we exercise, we release chemicals called endorphins, which actually act as painkillers. And further extension, when we exercise, we tend to improve our sleep. So moving in one way or another, whatever you find pleasurable to do, is a good thing to do. I do have some ideas on here. I have yoga on here. The link for that is Down Dog app, which is free right now. And again, this is a great way to do some exercise, some stretching, and some deep breathing kind of rolled up into one. I also have Tai Chi on here, which is a series of gentle movements and stretching and breathing techniques. Gold's Gym is offering free resources currently. They have an app as well as on-demand videos. And then Johnson & Johnson's 7-minute workout is completely free all the time. And it's offering a variety of exercises that you can do in 7 minutes to get a workout in and improve your physical and mental health. And this will again be sent out after this presentation, and so you can access those links. Going a little bit further, stress management apps specifically, we have the Simple Habit app. And this link is going to take you to a 60-day self-care plan. Remember when we were talking about resiliency, self-care is extremely important. This might be a good way to implement some self-care through a plan if you're not sure where to start. There's also the Stop, Breathe, Think app, which is full of meditations and mindfulness. We have the Calm app, which has sleep stories. It has some gentle mindful movement. It has meditations. It has a breath bubble, which is great. Again, like that 4-7-8 breath video I talked about, it's just a bubble that simply you can watch, and it shows you when to breathe in and hold and breathe out. And I personally find it helpful to look at it, to find your breath and pay attention to it. Headspace is another app that's mostly mindfulness, meditations, deals with decreasing stress and anxiety. And the last one on here is Sanvello, and this is actually specifically a mental health app. It's not just for stress and anxiety, but also depression. So I call that the mental health app, and they are offering all their resources for free right now due to COVID. So I would definitely look into that if you feel like you need some mental health help for more than just the stress management techniques. And that is everything I have on stress management techniques. If you have any questions for me or are interested in scheduling a telephonic coaching appointment for stress management in particular, maybe exercise planning while you're out, goal setting or accountability, the information is listed below. You can send me an email or shoot me a text or give me a call. And here are all my wonderful resources. There are lots of information on stress management. I hope that you found this educational and that you will take some of these resources to implement into your daily life always, but especially now as we continue to go through this disruption of our daily life and the fear of the unknown. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.